Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Thursday, November 21st, 2024. It's broadcast 1180. Thank you, Penny. Arlene, Michelle, Rebecca, good to see you, friends. It is day 412 since the war began. We have come together for 4.5 years every single day, saying good morning to each other, learning Torah, facing the world as it is, comforting each other, and also acknowledging moments that are incredibly hard and heavy to carry. Here we are, yet again, giving each other love, creating space, as Rosa just says, in a world that is topsy-turvy. Susie, it's good to see you. Rosa, good morning. Valerie and Tara, Dale, Ellen and Penny, Amy and Anya and Sunday, Jacqueline, good morning. It's good to see all of you. Hi, Carl. I hope that you and yours are safe and well. After we say good morning to a few of us by name, almost by face, really wish there could be ways that we could create an interactive so I could see everyone's face and just say good morning to our moving image, not just our avatars. Jack and Lydia, Tsiona and Barry, Linda and Peter, good morning. It's good to see all of you. Deborah and Chana, Cecile, Boker Tov. Lisa, it's good to see you too. Okay. April, hi. Let's take a breath. Natalie, good to see you. Let's sing a bracha and we'll learn some Torah. Here we go. Hi, Judy. Good morning, Anbo6. I'm not sure what your name is, but I'm really glad you're here. Anava, it's good to see you. Thanks for sharing your name. And my son Raf is now with us. He's on the Instagram feed, so if you're on Facebook, he won't know that you're sending him love, but everybody, send my boy some love. We are reading Parshat Chayei Sarah. It is a story that we've been exploring all week. We've known as a people for thousands of years. It is a fascinating glimpse into a moment of generational transition, and it could be helpful right now. I was looking at a commentary by a teacher of mine, the former chancellor of the Jewish Theological Seminary, Dr. Rabbi Ismar Shorsh, in a book. This was the uncorrected pre-publication copy of a very beautiful book of his called Canon Without Closure, where he published many of his commentaries over the years that were distributed to hundreds of thousands of people. Chayei Sarah is many things, including the first time that real estate is purchased by our people. And I know that that doesn't sound elevated, exalted, spiritual, but how important it is for us to know that the claim to the land, which we're going to be talking about in a moment in a very current events kind of way, the claim to the land is deeply contested throughout time. In fact, if you look closely at this week's portion and that section, let me lay the context and then make the point. When Sarah dies, there is no formal family burial plot. And so Avraham makes sure to create that space. Now, he has already been promised by God this land. So it makes it very interesting that he goes through the formal process of publicly purchasing the burial land. In fact, there's a real negotiation scene. It's a fascinating glimpse into the Torah. And the negotiation scene is between Avraham and Ephron. Ephron is a big landowner. You would say he's a sheikh of this community. And the power of the moment is that they're kind of performing the contract in public. Everyone is witness. Ephron says, no, you can have it. And Avram says, I will not have it. I will buy it. Tell me the full price. And then Ephron says, kind of like a used car salesman, as if he says, what's 400 shekel between you and me? Now, if you know the history, 400 shekel is quite a lot of money. So this is all posturing back and forth. But Avraham pays the 400 shekel for his own land. And you would say, and we should, that it is an uncontestable deed. Ephron has sold this land in front of the community to Avraham to be a family burial plot. Now, if you know about this family burial plot, it's in what is now known as Hebron, and the burial plot is a site called Ma'arat HaMachpelah, the Cave of Machpelah. Hebron is currently, it's in the West Bank. It is under Israeli control, but military control, and there is a small group of Israelis, Jewish Israelis, who live there. And the intensity of it is that there are many, many more, hundreds of thousands of Arabs living around. And so the contested aspect of this land is ongoing. And to get to the Cave of Machpelah, which we do not do at the moment, it is housed in a very large mosque, because over the thousands of years, not only are Abraham and Sarah, and according to Midrash, Adam and Eve, and Yitzchak and Rivka, and Jacob and Leah, but not Rachel, they are buried there. How powerful it is for us to think about this site as the first place that our family purchased, even though it was promised by God. Rabbi Shorsh points out that this is a foreshadowing of how the Jewish relationship with the land continued through the three Jewish commonwealths. We are, thank God, in the third Jewish commonwealth, the third time that Jews constitute a majority of the land and have dominion over it. But even in its earliest moments, the land was not free from occupants. The Torah, according to Rabbi Shorsh, makes a point of establishing that there were people there before. We purchased the land, or we were sent in to become the rightful inheritors, but Midrash suggests over and over that we had to do battle. Now, those who do battle in God's name, I don't know how to deal with that. That is a kind of fundamentalism. To believe that this is our legitimate land, yes, but God wants us to take this land, that is a complicated, now very political, geopolitical claim. And how certain leaders from within the Israeli community would marshal this parsha is actually at odds with how even the Midrash suggests, because in the end, it wasn't about uprooting the others from the land. It was about conquering it and it being under Jewish power. And even in modern history, that becomes incredibly complicated. There have been those, like the late Rabbi Meir Kahana, who've believed on theological and political levels that Jewish supremacy is the only way. Now, this is incredibly important for us to hear and to reject, because Jewish supremacy is just another kind of racism. Do I love us most of all? Of course I do. But Jewish supremacy and the consequence of that is the dehumanization of the other, is not even how the Torah approaches it, though the book of Genesis is very much about establishing the political link, the family link, the legacy link of the Jewish people to the land of Israel. It's not about supremacy. It's about the possibilities of home. Because in the end, according to the Torah and according to the Midrash, it's about coexistence. It's about finding a way to be together. And those Jewish leaders who have ignored the possibility of humanity in the other by their political actions, even if they don't say it, that is not what the Declaration of Independence of Israel says. It's not what Midrash says. It's not what the Torah says. Do I know what God wants? I don't have an answer for that. That's not the kind of theology that I have, not the kind of relationship with God that I think is a healthy one for people. It's about home. And so, what I want to ask us to think about, friends, is about when we read this Parsha and we see that Avraham and the Torah predict the unbelievable contesting of our home, he makes sure to establish legal and public legitimacy of our claim. Now, that is only one kind of claim. Our historic relationship with the land is one claim. The UN's decision is another kind of claim. The power of this claim should not be lost on us. And the necessity of continuing to fight for the right to have our home and for it to be seen as such by the world, that has not gotten simpler. It is clear that on many, many levels, this fight is ongoing. Just last night, or this morning, the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Prime Minister Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. It's not that leaders, Jewish leaders, Israeli leaders, Arab leaders, Palestinian leaders, it's not that they shouldn't be held to account, but the singling out in countless ways of Israeli political leaders is only different in degree and in kind from the kind of singling out of Jewish leaders elsewhere in the world in industries and in societies. This is a complicated moment, friends, and I recommend for all of us that we pay close attention to this Parsha when it comes to the claim for land. Avram already had the right to the land according to the Torah. God said so. How important it is for us to recognize, though, that he still needed to establish its legitimacy publicly. We shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to do this. It's our land, it's our home. Always was, and was internationally legitimized. It's not the only reason it's ours. But our fight to go home was actually the only successful anti-colonialist movement in history. And the strategy, certainly of Hamas, which has now in some ways been endorsed by the International Criminal Court, the strategy of Hamas was to have the world see the Jews as the Nazis. That has become clear. There's a lot of evidence to show the strategy of Hamas in advance of October 7th being a slow burn, no matter how intense it has been each day, so that the international delegitimization of our home would be a global agenda. We will fight back against this, and Israel is going nowhere. UJA is doing our work as supporting partners on the ground in Israel, with many Israelis who are partners of ours on the ground, and with our work all over the world to defend Jewish dignity and to act as dignified Jews. Yesterday's unveiling of the Brooklyn Hub for social services that will welcome in everyone, just as our huge hub in Queens welcomes everyone. Our work in community is gorgeous. Part of the unfortunate necessary work right now is to continue to defend the legitimacy of a Jewish home. Zionism is Jewish dignity. We have a place on earth. Abraham established that not only by accepting God's challenge and promise, but by defending, legitimizing, and making sure there were witnesses. We will continue to do this work. This Parsha calls to us through the generations to be spiritual and legitimate descendants of our ancestors who created our home, who buried our family there, who made time, made family, made beauty there. This is not a simple time in Jewish history. And the establishment of the State of Israel as a normal state comes with all sorts of complications, including accountability for our political leaders, which is a conversation for another time. But the international delegitimization of our home, that's the conversation for right now. Our Parsha points directly at it, and we must too. So I invite you, friends, as we send our hearts to the east, gather your strength, your courage, your passion, and your indignation when necessary. It's not that Israel always does right. We are people, we don't always do right. But friends, we are people, and we deserve a home where we do it better. This is our home. This is our message. This is our inheritance, and this is our mission. So I bless us, friends. I bless us to be strong, to be passionate, to be upset when we must, to be proud always, and to fight for our family's rights. So, with me, send your hearts. Here we go. Kol baleva pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefate mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvatenu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, friends. Take care.